Hi, I'm Dr. James Mellon, and what you're about to hear today could change your life dramatically. In the next 30 minutes, you will discover the single most important tool to changing your life. If you really put your attention on what we're talking about here today, you could be positioned to create whatever you want for your life. More money, more creativity, a stronger, more vibrant body, more love in your life. Does any of this sound good to you? Does it sound too good to be true? Because it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. So stay with me for this webinar, and by the end of it, I think you'll see why I am so excited about what I do in life. So let me start with a little history about me. I figure, you'd like to know who's talking to you today. Well, I grew up in Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. My dad was a Philly cop on the moral squad, and my mother was a 1950s housewife. And we were just an average income family, middle class, I guess you'd call us, except that when my older brother and I hit high school, my dad had to file bankruptcy. Now, watching my father struggle so hard to support his family really left a strong impression on my mind about money. I think that's where I got my core belief that finances are hard and money causes problems, that you have to work really hard and then it doesn't work out. So I would listen to my parents fight, and it would get me angry that money was doing this to them. At least that's what I thought at the time. And I carried that into my adult life like a trophy around my neck. I understood, or I thought I did, what money or a lack of money could do to a family. Of course, now that was many years ago, and the life I've created for myself today bears no resemblance to the life I was born into. And on today's webinar, I want to share with you how I created a whole new set of core beliefs around money, around love, around relationships, around success, creativity, around health, right? And how it has brought me to today where I am the richest I've ever been, I get to do what I love to do, and I get paid well to do it. So if this sounds like something you'd like to know about, well, here we go. Let me start with a quote by a man I highly respect, Ralph Waldo Emerson. One of the greatest minds of his time, Emerson wrote this: "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." I love that he uses the phrase tiny matters. The past, a tiny matter. The future, tiny, compared to what's in you right now. And just to be clear, what Emerson is talking about is your mind. That's what lies within you. A mental power that is unstoppable, and it's called your mind. And it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter, where it looks like you're headed. It doesn't matter what anyone says, thinks, or projects your way. It only matters what you think. That's how powerful you are. It only matters how you use your mind. And I can prove it to you. Let me tell you my story. I was born with a defective heart. Actually, what they called it was a hole in the heart at the time. My parents expected me to live a very limited life based on how I came into the world. No one ever expected me to do what I did, and certainly no one could explain how I was able to accomplish the things I would go on to accomplish. It was medically impossible, they'd say. At least, that's how most people looked at it. But not me. I didn't care what they said. I wasn't going to live the life of an invalid, no matter what. I was just going to do what I wanted to do and let the chips fall where they may. And that's exactly what I did. So by the time I was 19, I headed off to New York City with a determination to be on Broadway. I remember at the time my father saying to me, "Jimmy, what makes you think you can just go to New York and star in a Broadway show? Do you know how many people will be trying to do the same thing? You're not like them. We're not like them." Now, I want you to pay attention to that little slip of the tongue, "we're not like them." Do you hear the little slip there? We're not like them. As though I was born into this world with a specific lot and I'd better just get used to it. I remember my mother used to say, it was almost like her mantra, "Our family never gets the breaks." Well, I thought to myself, maybe our family doesn't get the breaks, but I will. I don't know what made me think that way, but I did think that way. I believed it. I would go to New York and I would get the breaks that I deserved. So, off to New York. And by the age of 25, I starred as Riff in West Side Story on Broadway, directed by the legendary Jerome Robbins. That's me center stage in the white t-shirt, dancing across the stage of the Minskoff Theater on Broadway. Obviously, this was a rehearsal because I'm sure we were much more together in performance. That's me also, center stage with the Jets, after dancing one of the hardest dances in Broadway history, Cool. That's one of Jerome Robbins' famous knee slides right there. You know, looking at that picture, I can still feel the pain in my right and left knee. But hey, I was there, right? And I was correct. There is no reason to believe what people tell you, not when there's something in each of us that knows the absolute truth. Now, this picture is from the original Broadway production of 42nd Street. That's me in the tuxedo, obviously, playing Billy Lawler and tap dancing my heart out through 2 hours of intense aerobic output. And remember, I was supposed to be limited in what I was allowed to do. In fact, my heart doctor from Philly, he was so worried that I was going to die on stage that he put me through a cardiac catheterization the minute my contract was up. He tried to get me to leave the show and do it months earlier, but I said no. I would finish out my contract in my hometown of Philadelphia, and then he could do what he needed me to do. I wasn't going to die in the middle of We're in the Money. I was pretty sure of that. So the day after I tapped my last tap in 42nd Street, I was admitted to Hahnemann Hospital in downtown Philadelphia, right down the street from where 42nd Street had just played its final performance the night before. And you know what they found out? The heart defect that I was born with, that hole in my heart, it was gone. I was fine. I was better than fine, really. I was in great shape, which, by the way, I knew even before the facts proved it. So, how did a boy from Philadelphia with virtually no training come to New York, star on Broadway in only 5 years, especially since I wasn't supposed to do anything strenuous with my life? I guess I was lucky, right? Well, as Mae West said, luck had nothing to do with it. I got to have the career I had because I was equal to having it. Let me say that again. I got to have the career I had because I was equal to having it. My mind knew what I wanted, and I wouldn't let anyone tell me anything else. When you know something, really know it in your soul, nothing can stop it. Of course, I really didn't know that then. I didn't know how I did it. I just knew what I knew. Now, after many years of practice and a doctorate in consciousness studies, I recognize that this thing called mind is, in fact, our most valuable tool to creating whatever life we want to live. And Mae West was right. Luck has nothing to do with it. It all comes down to what is in your mind. Now, the thing is, most people don't know this, and so they don't learn how to use this incredible tool. The great philosopher Ernest Holmes, he used to say this: there's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. And what he was referring to was your mind. Your mind is the power that you can use. Here's how it works. The way you think about life is the way life shows up for you. When it comes to money, I like to say the way you think about money is how money thinks about you. You know, for me, I was so angry about money coming into my adulthood that I repelled it at every turn. Even when I was making lots of it, I would eventually wind up without any. After all, I had a core belief in place that said people with money ended up not being happy. You know, a belief like that is so powerful that it can keep money away. Even as it's pouring down all around you, you can repel it. So, here's the absolute truth. Your mind is powerful. It is capable of great things. And to be honest, you haven't even begun to tap into what your mind can accomplish. When you focus the power of your mind on the things you want in life, you can create whatever experience of life you want to create. But you have to create it by using your mind to know it into experience. And it's not that you just sit around knowing things to happen. That's not exactly how it works. So I want to do a little experiment here. Let me ask you a few basic questions and just let the answers come through. Don't really give it much thought. Let's just see what's in there, okay? Number 1, how powerful is your mind? And I really want you to answer this question based on what you believe, not what you know or what you've learned. It's all too easy to say, oh, my mind is amazing. But do you really believe it? Do you believe that you can create whatever you put your mind to? And if you do, then to what extent are you able to do it? And to what extent are you doing it right now? That's what I want you to get in touch with. How powerful is your mind? Number 2, what philosophy of life do you live by? And I don't mean anything religious or even spiritual. I just mean, what do you believe about life and your place in it? Do you live in a good world filled with opportunity and wealth? Or do you live in a world of struggle where things are hard to come by? Is your world a scary place? Or is it inviting, filled with possibility? That's what I mean by your philosophy of life. And number 3, is your life working out the way you want it to? Do you have everything you want in life? I mean, you may have everything you need, and I truly hope you do. But do you have everything you want? So let me tell you how it works, this thing called life that we're all living. What you think about most of the time is how your life unfolds. So if you're not sure, what you think about most of the time, just look at your life, and you will see the results of what you've been thinking, good, bad, or indifferent. The great philosopher Ernest Holmes wrote that thoughts become things. So if you want the things in your life to change, you have to change the thoughts that brought the things your way. And that's where my program, Mental Muscle, comes into play. So what exactly is mental muscle? Well, I have another little story to tell you. One day, I was driving down the street, and I looked over to this park where this trainer was training some people. And he's putting them through their paces, and he's yelling at them to, hit the ground, do your push-ups, do your sit-ups, and everybody's doing exactly what he's telling them to do. And all of a sudden it hit me. What if I had a personal coach in my head, staying on top of what I think, what I believe? Stop thinking that. Don't procrastinate. You can think better thoughts than that. That would be so awesome, I thought. And so, right there on the spot, I created Mental Muscle, a boot camp for your mind. 16 weeks of spiritual boot camp, I called it. And I facilitated over 20 16-week sessions with thousands of students all over the world. That's the book cover in the upper corner. I helped people become the gatekeeper of their mind. Because that's really what it's all about. Keeping your mind focused on what you want to accomplish and keeping the crap out of your mind. You know what the crap is, right? I mean, we all know what the crap is in our mind. Complaining. As if complaining ever did anything for anyone. Complaining is just another way of keeping the problem in play, right? Making excuses. So my favorite quote about excuses is this: an excuse is nothing more than a self-imposed roadblock. Judgment. You got any of that going on? Judgment allows us to take the focus off of ourselves and put it somewhere else. All that energy, all that intention, all that momentum going over there to someone or something. And the thing is, do you know what you could do and what you could create in your mind instead of the judgment you're throwing out there? Let me tell you something else that Emerson said. What mind can conceive and believe, man can achieve. And I want to point out the most important word in that quote. The most important word in that quote is believe. It's not enough to just think thoughts. You have to believe them to activate them. That's where most people get in trouble. They don't understand why things aren't working out. Why do I always run out of money? Why can't I just do what I love to do? I'm thinking all the right thoughts. What's the problem? How come I keep avoiding success? Why is it that I don't find the relationships I want? Okay, are you ready? Here's the gold. Here's where it all happens. Here's the culprit. Here's the only thing stopping you from achieving every goal you want. You ready? This is the most important thing to understand in how to transform your life. Here we go. Core beliefs. Everything going on in your life can be traced back to some specific core belief. Everything in your life has been created by some core belief. And to prove it, let me ask you this. How much do you have in common with the elephant? I want you to take a look at this picture. This is a picture of an elephant in captivity. And what I'm about to tell you is shocking. And it's sad, but it's true. Even though an average elephant weighs over 15,000 pounds, you can train it to think it's unable to escape just by putting a little shackle on its leg when it's a baby elephant, when it's too young and still too small to escape. In fact, a baby elephant with a shackle on its leg will struggle against the restraint so angrily, as we all would, that the shackle starts to cut into its leg and causes it such pain and suffering that it eventually gives up and comes to believe that this is his or her lot in life. It learns this awful life lesson and accepts it as a core belief. And so, when it grows to a size where it could actually just kick it out of the ground with one fell swoop, when it's 15,000 pounds, it doesn't think it can do it. So it doesn't. And this is called an already established premise. We all have them. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, some of them are constructive to our lives, and others are kind of destructive. We accept them based on certain facts that very often are no longer relevant, but we don't realize that. We don't realize that we're now over 15,000 pounds of energy, with a mind that can move mountains and soar into the sun, and yet we stay shackled to the ground because we're still subject to the core beliefs we accepted along the way. But here's the truth, and you don't have to be chained to any of your core beliefs to understand this. You have the power to break through any core belief you have, because you aren't your core beliefs. You are so much more than that. This whole philosophy of mental muscle is based on the fact that who you are is whoever you decide to be. It's your choice. You get to decide. So, here's what I know about you. I know that you want something better out of your life. I know that you want more money in your life. I know that you want passion and fulfillment in your life. You want to feel good about yourself and the people who share your life. And you know you are meant for more. Does this sound like you? Someone who's meant for more? Someone who has always had within him or her the ability to create a bigger life? Well, it should be, because it is. There is something within you that drives you forward, pushes you to reach out, and stretches your imagination. Who you truly are is just waiting for you to remember that who you are isn't what you see. In fact, what you see is a product of what you believe. So, I want to ask you these questions. What if? What if I knew I was successful and that's all I knew? What if I knew I was rich and that's all I knew? What if I knew I was insanely talented and that's all I knew? What if I knew my body was vibrant with perfect health, and that is all I knew? What if I knew I deserved to be happy, and that's all I knew? That's what you're here to know. And that's what I'm here to help you do. That's what mental muscle is all about. I'm here to be your, as one of my clients called me, your personal brain trainer. The way I see it, it's just like going to the gym. You can go on your own and figure it all out. Sometimes do the work, other times not so much. Or you can team up with a trainer and put you through your paces, your mental muscle trainer. I know for me, I never get the results I get unless I'm accountable to someone. And here's the other thing about mental muscle. You have to be willing to get rid of your BS, right? And we all have a lot of BS going on in our minds, because for me, BS stands for your belief system, which unfortunately quite often is also your BS. Each program in Mental Muscle is designed to get in touch with your core beliefs. Decide which ones work and which ones don't, and then take action. Take the action of creating core beliefs that support your goals and desires. And the truth is, you have a lot of core beliefs, and it's time you got in touch with them and took control over them. And let me tell you this as well. There is nothing like this out there on the market. There's a lot of 7 steps to this, or the magic of that, or how to get this without doing the work type things. But Mental Muscle, this series of programs, this is the real deal. This cuts deep to your core. The core of why you are where you are and how you can get to where you want to be. Whether it's about money or health or love or career, it all boils down to what you believe about each one of these items. That's the work we do here in Mental Muscle Extreme. We uproot core beliefs that don't serve us and replace them with ones that do. So, let me ask you another question. Right here, right now, right in this moment. Can you think of any core beliefs you know don't work for you? Something that you've been carrying around for years that you wish you didn't believe? You can see some of them on this page. Life is hard. I'm unlovable. Money is hard to get. Well, here's a question. Can you think of anything you've heard your parents say growing up, or anyone that was around you as a child? Things about money or success, career, love, marriage. Here's a big one for me. People with money are never happy. My grandmother used to say that, and prove it by saying how happy our family was without money. And then she used to say, be careful if you ever do get money, because you may lose your happiness. You know, when it comes to money, we have some pretty crazy core beliefs that stand in the way and block our experience of prosperity. And there are many examples of people living lives based on core beliefs that are ridiculous. And here's the thing. If you want to change your life, you have to get in there and change your beliefs. It's that simple. And that's where Mental Muscle Extreme comes into play. 16 weeks of mental boot camp has been condensed into 30 days. 30 days, thus the extreme. 30 days of pulling up core beliefs and getting serious about your BS, your belief system. 30 days of creating new, positive habits about money, health, love, creative expression, success. With me as your personal brain trainer, helping you to identify what's blocking you, pull it out, and create what needs to be created to turn it all around. So here's how it works. It can take as little as 21 days to create a new habit. And in 30 days, you can create a new neural pathway, which is like a pathway from your desire, the thing you want, to the fulfillment of that desire. So from lack to prosperity, or from failure to success, or from being blocked to a mindset of creativity. It just depends on what you focus your mind on. So here's how it works. I will work with you for 15 minutes a day for 30 days. 30 days of inspirational, transformative audio sessions. Now these sessions will be uploaded every day for 30 days. You can access them through your website and listen on your computer, the phone, or any device of your choosing. Each day, there will be a directive designed to bring forward core beliefs that are directing the course of your life. Every day will expand on the previous day's work. So that's 15 minutes a day for 30 days of you working your mind to create a new relationship to money, success, creativity, health, going from what you want to have to having what you want. And that's not all. I'm also going to have daily insights that will be published on an interactive blog. Okay? Interaction with your fellow mental muscle participants will also be ongoing and enlightening. Y'all get to talk about what's going on. And when you read what everybody writes about their experience, it'll be pretty amazing for you to see how much of this goes on in everyday life. Okay, on the blog, you're also going to find each recording for you to easily access and revisit as many times as you like. Most people, when they take this course, listen to the recording 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day. And most importantly, this is where I will address whatever is going on with you during this journey. Right? I get to spend more time with you. There's also 4 bonus webinars, and I'll appear live each week during this course to answer your questions from throughout the week. And the times are going to vary based on everybody's schedule. So every webinar will be 30 minutes, and I will address whatever issue comes up. So you can actually be live on the call with me or watch the webinar later. Right? The recordings of all the webinars will be available during the 30 days of the course and for 2 weeks after the course is concluded. So there you go. Mental Muscle Extreme. 15 minutes a day for 30 days of you focusing your mind on what you want to create. Now, as I am nearing the end of this webinar, I want to go back to the top slide you saw when we first began. I told you at the top that what you were about to hear would change your life dramatically. I told you that you would discover the single most important tool to changing your life. And that if you really put your attention on what we're talking about today, you could be positioned to create whatever you want for your life. More money, more creativity, a stronger, more vibrant body, more health, more love in your life, and it's all true. Everything I've told you today is not only true, but it's the way the world works. A powerful, strong, conscious mind can achieve anything it puts its attention on. So here's my promise to you. If you give me 15 minutes a day for 30 days and do the work, I will give you results, lasting results that will change your life forever. Once you know how this stuff works, you never go back to living the life you let yourself live before this. In 30 days, you can go from uncertain to undaunted. You can go from powerless to powerful. And you can go from someone who lives from the outside in to someone who lives from the inside out. You know, Tony Robbins wrote that a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided. So take an action. Go to my website and check out Mental Muscle Extreme. Start today, taking back your mind and taking control of your life. Trust me, when you see how much this costs, you won't believe it. All of my programs are extraordinary values. Trust me, you can't afford not to take this next step. Mental Muscle Extreme. It starts on November 1st. Give it a try. What do you have to lose, other than a core belief that needs to be lost anyway? I guarantee you'll enjoy spending 30 days with me. You'll create new healthy habits when it comes to money, success, opportunity. You'll create those new core beliefs that support your goals and attract what you've been dreaming of as part of your life, not as something out there you dream of. So give it a try. You'll be happy you did. And thanks for listening today. Have a great day, and I look forward to us working together. Namaste.